Zack Snyder. So the Oscars, they put out this fan favorite vote and the cheer moment votes. So this was basically a Twitter and website based voting thing that they would, present at the Academy at the Oscars. It's not an actual Oscar. It's not a, award per se, but it was
It's a,
this.
it's an Academy Awards acknowledgement.
Yes, acknowledgement basically of
Yeah.
how their viewers, how to grab viewers. But I thought, look, at first, obviously, people would be, shitting on this idea because they're so desperate to get people watch the show and all that. And this award was basically created for the No Way Home fans because, obviously everyone watched that movie and a lot of people are super passionate about that movie, and the Snyder fans because, we're just a huge number of them. So if you can.
Well, like, yeah, I think it was made for the because Kevin Feige for years has bitched over it, and the
Yes.
fans have bitched, the actors have bitched that the MCU movies are good enough to be acknowledged at the Oscars. You know, and for me, I don't agree. Ultimately, like Black Panther was nominated for Best Picture. I don't think it was the best movie of that year or anything, but that's a great achievement. But like, this award was made for them. I honestly thought it was going to be rigged. I thought they would win. I thought of Endgame and Spider-Man No Way Home. I thought these movies would win, and they didn't. And they did it fairly then, which is all. And then you had all these people getting so crazy and like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. How did these movies win? Well, it's pretty simple. It was a voting system. You had to vote for the movie
Yeah.
you wanted to win. Obviously, you didn't vote, or your fan base didn't vote enough. That's why Zack Snyder's two movies won. It's pretty that simple. There was no like. There was no agenda going on. It was
It's
a literal
basically math.
competition.
The
Yeah,
thing that Spider-Man said to Doctor
yeah,
Strange in No Way
yeah,
Home.
exactly. So, I think this award was won with the intention that the MCU movies would win, and you would have this big kind of celebration. And I think the celebrations were cut short because two movies that weren't even theatrical movies, but that were on streaming services won, which was a big shock. And I think a lot of people were probably pissed at this, which was amazing. And Zack Snyder was just not even there, and he was acknowledged twice with two movies,
Yeah.
two Warner Brothers movies. Like Army was in a Warner Brothers movie, and they got rid of it with Toby Emmerich sitting in the crowd.
Yeah.
It's the greatest flex of all time. It's
Amazing.
fantastic.
You
Because
remember
like,
when you remember when we said when we were discussing this because we wanted these two to win, even though I thought, probably the most cheers in a theater ever were No Way Home and Endgame. Like everybody knows
yeah,
that. But
and you know
even
what?
then,
This isn't just for 2020. This is or
exactly.
2021. This is for the history of cinema.
Exactly. And we thought that, if these two won and if Zack Snyder got, if he won and he got acknowledged at the Oscars, this would be a huge, slap on Toby's face because he rejected Army of the Dead and that got made by Netflix and he, you know, chopped up the Snyder cut and he didn't want the Green Lantern in there and all that stuff. He canceled the Snyderverse and he's so anti-Snyder, he doesn't want to acknowledge it, doesn't want to properly release it, all that stuff, right? And that all happened just last year in a span of 1 year. Zach got two movies released. Right in that year's Oscars, his movies got recognized. And Toby, the best part was that Toby was there. Dude, imagine his face
Yeah,
sitting in the audience and seeing that on screen. The flash scene with the music. Oh my god.
if Zack Snyder never goes back to DC, his last achievement or last creation would be acknowledged at the Oscars, and that's unbelievable. So that's cool. The list. Look, we can talk about the list and how weird it is and how it doesn't make any sense, but technically. It's an Oscars cheer moment for the history of cinema because it had movies from 1999, it had movies from 2009, it had years. So that means it's the greatest Oscar. It's the award for the greatest moment in cinema history, and the Flash has gotten it, which is awesome. and
Yeah.
Army of the Dead won. I was surprised. I was more surprised Army won, to be honest with you,
Yeah, me
because that
too.
had some tough competition. But the fan base, they all came together in a great positive way. Tweeted out the it is spamming hashtags and stuff like that, which
All
we're pretty
voting
good at.
is.
Uh,
All voting
but
is
all voting
spamming.
is, of course it is. So we won fairly. There was no, we didn't do anything wrong, So we won nice, fair and square, and people were jealous,
The
but they should have
funniest,
voted more.
exactly, the
So
funniest part about that, about voting more and people not understanding how this won, like, they're the ones that always complain that Snyder fans are just bots. They just want to, spam the hashtags every time and all that. They're only a vocal minority and they just spam. That's why their numbers, show that much. This vote had a 20 tweet per day limit. And
yeah,
even after that,
we used it all. We used it all.
even after that, they actually won. So I'm just saying, man, if you thought that No Way Home was that good and it deserved the win, you should have voted. You should have
Yeah,
voted.
like I voted, but I didn't. I did like I wasn't like
Yeah, I
I
didn't
didn't
either.
vote every day.
I didn't.
Like
People
I vote here and there, but people were
using the
so
numbers,
precise.
right?
20. Oh, I got 20 today. I'll do 20 now. And then when the minute it hits like midnight the next day, another 20. Like
Yes.
that's really good. Fair play to people that did it every single day.
Yeah.
I wasn't that hardcore with it, I won't lie. I did it like maybe today and tomorrow, but then I didn't do it for a few days, just forgot, or I was doing other
Yeah.
things. But people were really,
Some
really
people were
into
going
it,
like
and
like you said, some people were going with numbers, like first tweet, second tweet, third tweet, like that. And I was like, oh wow. But
yeah,
thanks to them, this happened, and I couldn't be, happier because winning one was enough, but winning both was just perfect. Just perfect.
great. And it does. I don't know if it does any good for Discovery coming in and restore the Snyderverse, but it doesn't do any harm
Yes.
because it looks Discovery look at the Oscars and it's like, wait, this movie was acknowledged at the Oscars. That's pretty cool. It's a HBO Max original. Cool. Subscribers there. Why aren't we building on this universe? Why can't we do something?
Hmm.
Which is like it's a tragedy that they're not. It's crazy that they're not. And
You can start with
then
the low
also
budget
what?
simple stuff like the
Yeah,
Deathstroke movie or the Atom movie.
yeah. Exactly, and like it's kind of embarrassing as well that Army were a project and went to Netflix and it was
Yep.
acknowledged as well. So it just shows the incompetence of the studio and the executives big time. But Zack Snyder won in the end, and yeah, it's been he by judging by that he probably he was the best. He had the best 2021 of any director maybe.
Yep.
Two massive streaming hits acknowledged at the Oscars. He won a few other awards as well. So yeah, fair play to Zack Snyder. Voted and Zack appreciated it, and Deborah appreciated it, and a lot of the actors appreciated it as well.
Mhm.
And what this kind of does as well, I think, is that it could, I don't know if it will, but it could put Warner Brothers in a position with these new executives desperately trying to get Zack Snyder back.
Yeah.
And also you'll have Netflix who look at this and think, wow, we've invested a lot into this guy and it's actually paying off better than we thought. I think Netflix will desperately try to keep Zack Snyder
Yeah.
for themselves as long as they can.
Especially when he's
Zack,
doing two Rebel Moon movies.
yeah. And Zack Snyder's a rich guy. He's done a lot of big movies. He doesn't need the money, of course. He still takes it and stuff. He deserves. He earns money, of course. But I don't think he does anything out of money. I think what he does now is out of happiness and is out of him being in a position to craft his art in a stressful free environment.
Yes.
And if he's looking between the two, and he's looking back at this ex-girlfriend, Warner Brothers, thinking that was pretty toxic. I wasn't happy. Why would I go back there? Oh, she's changed. She's changed her clothes, which is the new executives. But it's still kind of in the core of that company, and it doesn't just change like that.
Yeah.
That takes a while. You've seen is it Bob Chapek? He's the Disney president, the Disney
CEO.
president CEO.
Yeah.
It took him 3 or 4 years before we actually got to see how he was and what he was doing. And it's not all good either. It's slowly after coming around and affecting Disney now. That didn't happen after his first month in charge or first year in charge. It took 4 years, a few years, 2 or 3 years for his stuff to happen. So it's going to take a few years for Warner Brothers to get in the best possible way. So I don't know if Zack Snyder is willing to go back to an environment that was toxic like that. He would have to see a lot of examples of change before he does. you know. And
I
I think
agree.
Warner Brothers have to prove that to him first.
Yeah, like I definitely think like he should definitely finish, his passion projects, whatever he's currently making. I think he should follow that because that's what he actually wants to make, and that's his original, universe. So I feel like that increases his value even more by doing that. But I also think that he wants to finish his DC arc. Obviously, he has, a lot of passion for that. And I also think that if he is going back to WB again, that it has to definitely be on his demands. It has to meet his demands, which would just be getting him, creative control, getting him the final cut. Because if that's not there, then what's the point? I don't
Yeah,
want a half-assed nightmare movie. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm gonna be honest. I don't want that. I want 100% Snyder or 0% Snyder. I don't want 90 or 80%. But
and this could get bigger for him because Rebel Moon's coming
exactly.
before Dune 2 and before the next Star Wars movie.
Yes.
You know,
Before
so
Dune
he
Dune 2 comes out, he'll have two Rebel Moon movies. Hopefully.
yeah, so he could cement a new kind of genre of sci-fi, of space adventure, and who
Yep.
knows how far that goes and how far that's acknowledged because that's going to have amazing visual effects.
Hmm.
So, and if it plays in some theaters, um, it will be what's the word? It will be available for the Academy to vote on and stuff like that. So,
That's true.
yeah, let's see. He's on a roll right now, and hopefully he doesn't slow down.
Yeah. So if you want to support Zack Snyder, go, support Rebel Moon, go support his Netflix projects. But also if you just really want the DC projects and really want to support him in doing that, you can again support Zack at Netflix in his Rebel Moon and all that, because that will actually um increase his chances and likelihood of
And
getting a good
also,
deal.
people it could get more people to watch his movie on HBO Max as well on the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
It could get the clicks up there because they see this movie at the Oscar. What's this movie? The Flash is in it? Oh, cool! They beat this movie, that movie, and people go check it out. That's
Yeah.
how. That's how. That could help.
And speaking of, Oscars and Zack Snyder, we also had this really cool thing happen on the day. So Samuel from Twitter, we follow him. He organized this campaign, and it was so I'll just read the tweet here. This sky banner will fly over Hollywood during the Oscars red carpet from 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. Over half of the donations from the fundraiser will go to AFSP and Project Hope to help Ukraine with medical supplies. So this is a pretty awesome, initiative, and the plane basically says WB Discovery hashtag Restore the Snyderverse. So this flew over WB, and it also flew over the Hollywood sign, and I think it also flew over the Dolby Theater where the Oscars were being held. So people saw this when the Oscars were happening. They saw this over their heads. So it's a pretty cool, idea, especially because it also accompanied Zack Snyder's, wins, and he was trending because of
Yeah,
that. So if people are not, if people are not um if they don't know about this yet, they might be curious and they might check it out. So I think it was a good timing. So this also, was very expensive, and especially because over half of the donations also went to Ukraine and AFSP and all that. So that's a pretty good thing. And yeah, I think it was good.
yeah. Fair play, and it helps. It helped Zack Snyder make an impact at the Oscars without him even being at the Oscars. So yeah, fair play, and it just
It helps
like
in
if he didn't
sending a
win two
message to the
awards,
company.
yeah, definitely, yeah. And like all the stars aligned. The plane flew over. the Army of the Dead won and Zack Snyder's Justice League won. You
Yeah.
know, that wasn't a guarantee. It could have been just a plane, and that could have been good in its own right. But all three happened, so that was cool. That was awesome, and yeah, good cause, and yeah, that's a very of course it's showing what we want and stuff like that. But it's not selfish because it's going towards different causes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, the intention behind it is good. Is good. So yeah, awesome and fair play, and yeah, hopefully Toby Emmer got to see that as well. So
Yeah.
wasn't a good Oscars for him, I'm sure. So, yeah, fair play, well done, and hopefully somebody at
He had a
Uncommons,
nightmare yesterday.
it turned their head.